Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.
What is up? What is up? We are back, Eagles Nation. Super Bowl week with my boy Tone DeShields. How you doing, my guy?
Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? BG Bird Gang 31. My God, man, it's always good to link up with you, my man. We was talking off air, man, and one of the things I love about you the most, my man, is I love your optimism. I love your approach to life and how your vision is damn near limitless, man. And that's the kind of vision, if we're being honest, that got us to this point with the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's call it what it is, man. Some people call it blind faith. Some people call it optimism. Some people call it just taking shots in the dark. But at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles are in the Super Bowl, my man, facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's funny how God worked, man. The Eagles had to knock off the best to get their first Super Bowl, and now the football guys asking us to do it again. So, man, Tom Brady's head is already on the mantle. Let's see if we can get Patrick Mahomes' head on the mantle, man. Make sure I smash that like button for my man Bird Gang 31, man, the Dawn.
Yeah, we're both on both channels right now. We're on Chalk It Up Sports and we're on Bird Game channel. Hey, we're on Twitter on both channels, on Twitter and on the network BGN, man. So make sure you guys, wherever you're watching, hit that like so we can get this out to more Eagles fans. Because you know what time it is, Tone. One more game, our quarterback said. One more game.
Just one.
The main thing, boy. Let's talk about it a little bit here. What do you want to start? Start with some very good, what do you call it? Headlines for the Super Bowl. We got the Kelce brothers playing.
Right.
We got Andy versus Nick.
Exactly.
We got the best defense, pass rushing defense versus I guess the best
passing offense, something like that, right?
Offense or whatever they're trying to claim the Chiefs have.
I feel you on that.
You got Jalen Hurts versus Patty Mahomes, first time black quarterbacks, youngest black quarterback. But youngest quarterbacks to start a Super Bowl. First time. Where do you want to start? Because there's a lot of
so many storylines, like you said, right? It's so many narratives, surrounding this game. But first and foremost, I think we definitely got to discuss the fact that for the first time, two black quarterbacks are leading the charge in the Super Bowl, man. That's historic. That means a lot to me. That means a lot to a lot of young kids out here who probably was told that they had to change a position. Hey, why don't you try being a running back? Hey, have you ever thought about being a wide receiver or a tight end or whatever it may be? And, I remember when Jalen first came out, they asked him, did he think about changing his position? And he said, nah, I'm a quarterback.
Right.
And I respect his stance on that so much because they tend to do that with a lot of athletic quarterbacks, right? Most notably the black ones. And, it's just they wouldn't ask any other athletic, quarterback to do that, right? They wouldn't ask a white quarterback to do that. That was athletic. They just wouldn't. They would believe that he could somehow, some way get the job done. But nonetheless, the bottom line is if Jalen Hurts wins this Super Bowl, he has an opportunity to change the entire narrative.
Wait, Tone, I hate to cut you off. I hate to cut you off, Tone. Sorry. I didn't hear something right. He said, it's when Jalen Hurts wins this Super Bowl. They no if in it, my guy. They no if in it. Go ahead and finish your story. I hate to cut you off.
I feel you on that. It's so funny. It's so funny. I've been saying when all week.
Oh my God.
It's so funny since we've been in it. I've been saying when all like the whole time. So I don't know what came over me just now, but nonetheless, when Jalen Hurts and these boys win the Super Bowl, man, he gonna change the entire narrative. the entire narrative surrounding, not just black quarterbacks, but also quarterbacks who are mobile, dual threat quarterbacks. Historically, they really didn't want guys that move around outside the pocket. They didn't really expect them to really be, they didn't really expect them to go to distance. They didn't expect them to go to distance, man. A lot of people feel like the play style just isn't sustainable, right? And Ding Burrito says Edelman, Matt Jones, Lane Johnson, Travis Kelce all play quarterback, right? But here's the thing, right? None of those guys that you mentioned were high-profile quarterbacks coming out of college. None of them,
right?
None of them. The point is, when Lamar Jackson came out, they asked him what he played another position. He was a high-profile quarterback. Jalen Hurts, he was a high-profile quarterback. Regardless of how you felt about him, he was a high-profile quarterback. So, no one's paying attention if they ask Edelman to change his position. No one's paying attention. Matt Jones, Kelce, so on and so forth. But nonetheless, though, bottom line is, Jalen Hurts is in the Super Bowl, and nobody saw this coming from him. Everybody thought that he would eventually fall off of a cliff, right? And it's a lot of people still waiting for him to fall off this proverbial cliff. It's not going to happen. Now, I still believe that he's dealing with. Something with that shoulder because he is overthrowing his deep balls a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think these 2 weeks of rest is going to be huge for him. And I'm just paying attention to the young man's demeanor. I'm paying attention to the way he's carrying himself. Through all these meaningless interviews, and he's taking in the moment. But I can see it in his eyes that he has one focus, and that's the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, I seen that interview. What was the opening day yesterday? And you just see him, and when they talked to Patty Mahomes, like you heard the fans, because it seemed like there was a lot more Chiefs fans there, than Eagle fans, But when you heard this crowd chant, and I kind of seen it in his eyes, like he was just looking like, really? Okay. It's like that. I got you. Like he's still so laser focused. Like, at the end of the last game, what was your best play? None. We're not done with the season yet.
Season ain't over yet.
We're not done yet, guys. Like, I'm still not happy. I am still not happy. You guys think because I won this little trophy? Like you said earlier, high-profile schools. Like even if Mahomes is the RG3, they weren't known. They weren't in the SEC like dominating school like Jalen Hurts. He played on 2 dominating schools. You know what I'm saying? Like that's way bigger than any of those other schools those guys played on. Played for. And I just feel like he just all the disrespect all year long, all last year. From the time he's been drafted, it's still burning inside of him, and he has a point to prove in this Super Bowl, man. He has a real point to prove.
Yeah, let me ask you this, right? A lot of people, the odds makers, right? They're saying that, oh yeah, the Eagles are the favorites, right? But I don't believe that. I understand that. What is it? 1.5 point, 2.5 point favorites. I haven't checked it in a minute, but the bottom line is they're saying that the Eagles are the favorites. I don't believe that. I'm not taking the bait. I firmly believe a lot of people believe Patrick Mahomes is going to get this job done, and the Eagles are going to fumble the bag. I firmly believe people are expecting Jalen Hurts and the Eagles to fumble this bag. I understand he hasn't had the most spectacular playoff run this season, but he's done his job, and the team's done well enough to win games handily. So, ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a situation where they got to leave it all out there. This isn't a game where you tread lightly. This isn't a game where you leave some gas in the tank. You gotta empty it all. You got to burn rubber in this game. You feel what I'm saying? Who do who on offense to you? Who do you think needs to have a dominant game not named Jalen Hurts?
Not named Jalen Hurts. I think I talked about this earlier. I really feel like my sleeper guy would be Naquez Watkins.
Interesting.
Because I feel like, Devontae, AJ, like they have 3 rookie cornerbacks playing in this game. You know what I'm saying? 3 rookies, and that can get you so far for so long. And I know they went against Burrows and Chase and Boyd and Higgins and those boys last week and did a pretty decent job. But I think Miles going to do his thing. But Miles and Gainwell been doing their thing the whole last 2 games. So it's not like something that'd be like, oh, wow, they just be doing what they normally do. But I
Right.
think that this could be a game we see Quest because we've been waiting for Quest all year long to be that guy that really open some eyes and do things like that. And he hasn't really done it. He's had a couple of good spot plays there, here and there. But we started three cornerbacks. Your focus is going to be on how you're going to stop AJ, how you're going to stop Devontae, and then how you're going to stop Dallas Goedert in terms of the passing game. Where I think that this could be like that sleeper game where he might not have done it all year long, but Quest can come out and do some big things this year. I mean, this game.
To your point about sleepers, right? If we go in that route, I think the guy's Kenny Gainwell. I think Kenny Gainwell has an opportunity to really, go off in this game. You feel what I'm saying? Like, again, since you went, that route, the lesser guys, the guys that don't
Yeah.
have the necessarily bigger names, right? Because I expect AJ Brown to do his thing. I expect Devontae Smith to do his thing, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think Kenny Gainwell has an opportunity. Right now, Kenny Gainwell is averaging 6 yards a carry in this playoffs, right? And you can make an argument he's having a better playoffs than Miles Sanders. And Miles Sanders obviously has the touchdowns to match.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think this is one of those games where Kenny Gainwell can take advantage. This I have a hard time believing that the Kansas City Chiefs can stop the Philadelphia Eagles rush attack. The Kansas City Chiefs are one of the worst teams when it comes to stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they're one of the worst defenses in terms of opponent third down conversion rate. So let me just throw this at you real quick, right? When it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs defense, throughout the entire season, they were ranked 17th in the NFL in opponent third down conversion rate. They're allowing opponents to convert 39% of their third downs.
Wow.
That's ranked 17th in the NFL for the season, for the regular season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for their last 3 games, that would be the Bengals game,
Mm-hmm.
that would be the Jacksonville Jaguars game, and that will include their final game of the season because they had that bye.
Yep.
When it comes to their last 3 games, they're ranked 29th in the NFL when it comes to opponent third down conversion rate. They're allowing, in the last 3 games, they're allowing offenses to convert 49% of their third downs. The Kansas City Chiefs struggled to get off the field on third down. It's just that simple.
Wow.
So when you couple those numbers with what the Eagles do well, and that's running the ball, you can't help but to think that the Eagles can really dictate this game, especially at the line of scrimmage. Let me add some more context to those numbers, right? Because third down is such an important down in football.
Mm-hmm.
Games are won and lost on third down. But let me put it to you like this. Now, when it comes to teams who actually are pretty good at converting third down on offense, I want to tell you just how important this down is because you'll get a sense for a while. So look at this. Out of the top 10 teams on third down, out of the top 10 teams on third down on offense, 8 of those 10 teams made the playoffs. 8 of the top 10 teams in the NFL in terms of converting third downs made the playoffs. That's Buffalo, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Philly, Dallas, San Francisco, Chargers, and Jacksonville. But the Pittsburgh Steelers and Atlanta Falcons are in the top 10 when it comes to converting third down on offense. Now, if you expand that into the top 12, 10 of the top 12 teams in the NFL on third down made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, if your team is good on third down, if your team knows how to sustain drives, they win for the most part. Now, I will give the Kansas City Chiefs credit in this regard. When it comes to converting third downs on offense, they're ranked second in the NFL for the whole season. They convert third downs on offense. Patrick Mahomes and those boys convert third downs. They're converting third downs at a 49% clip on offense, and it's only gotten better in the playoffs. So the Eagles are going to have a tough task ahead of them in terms of getting Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs off the field on third down. But the Chiefs are going to have maybe an even harder time getting off the field defensively on third down, because the Eagles, they're ranked 10th. I'm sorry, they're ranked 4th in the NFL in terms of converting third downs on offense.
That's nice.
And
That's
then
real nice.
And then in terms of getting opponents off the field on third down, they're ranked 10th in the NFL. And then it's only gotten better in the playoffs. They're ranked 4th in the NFL in terms of opponent third down conversion rate in the last 3 games. Opponents are only converting 31% of their third downs in the last 3 games for the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles have improved on third down defensively. The Chiefs have gotten worse on third down defensively. The Chiefs have improved on third down offensively. The Eagles have gotten, actually, the Eagles are actually the same on third down offensively. So at some point, something's got to give. And with the way the Eagles run the ball, they're a power team, whereas though the Chiefs are a finesse team. I think the Eagles can sustain drives, run the ball down their throat, and just outmuscle that team and wear down their defensive line and wear down their pass rush. But what's your thoughts on that? Again, like third down is so important. How do you see third downs in the Super Bowl?
I just see, third downs is down that our defensive line really gets after the quarterback too, and really we will get into how bad I think this game's going to be, but keep it on just the topic itself. Like I feel like you said, I feel like our defense is for them. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be a lot more third downs that they're not going to convert this game as opposed to us. Like I feel like we're still pick and choose your poison. You know what I'm saying? We're still in that mode. We never left the whole season. That was something that I think people were expecting to change throughout the season, where we wouldn't be able to pick and choose your poison with us. What do you want to stop? And that's on offense and defense side of the ball. Like we can blitz, we can man up, we can go in the zone. You know what I'm saying? We can rush 4, we can not rush 4. We can do whatever it is that we want. And I think that, people don't really take that to heed and realize that we can do what we want. So, on third down, we can bring that heat. We can play some coverage, whatever we need to do what we need to do to stop them. And I think it's going to happen very often this game. When you look at the weapons on that side of the football for them, Travis Kelce, arguably the best. Actually, not arguably, I will have to say, because Goddard's on a rise. I think he eventually might get up, past him, because I think Goddard's overall better, tight end than Travis. But Travis is the number 1 tight end right now. And he gets open, man. Him and Mahomes are like, peanut butter and jelly. What I'm saying? These guys know each other back and forth. They don't even have to know what the other one's about to do, but when they do it, the other one knew what they're doing, and they get the ball to them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're on that sync that if you let any of that get started at this Super Bowl, you might have a problem. Those guys are badass, and that can be a way that they can really. I think that's probably the reason why they're ranked so high in terms of the third down conversions, is because of that duel itself. Because Travis Kelce is really hard. You can double team that guy, and he can still get a first down. You know what I'm saying? He can do what he wants to do. Offensively for us, it's just like pick your poison. What are you gonna do? I just feel like their defense is not even ready for it. It's just like 2 different levels we're talking here.
I don't trust their corners against AJ Brown and Smith. I don't.
That's already a huge mismatch. Your 3 rookie cornerbacks versus our star all-pro freaking Pro Bowl receivers is already a huge mismatch. And don't forget Goddard should have been in the Pro Bowl too. If he didn't get hurt, tight end. That's too much right there to even I feel like you guys have to they have to put the bulk in their defense into figuring out how they're gonna stop that. Like everybody wonders, what about the run game? You know what I'm saying? But their best players on defense is on that D line. Like Chris Jones was his DT, I think, right? He's not.
The Chiefs are very top heavy, very top heavy.
It's not not the outsides. It's that middle of that field. So yes, we got Jason Kelce, Landon Dickerson, all pro. What I'm saying, to go out there and do their thing against Chris Jones, because he's a phenomenal player.
Phenomenal.
But we talked about this before, man. The Eagles always stop stars or always dominate stars throughout the whole season. It's the nobodies that you need to worry about. The playmaking, making big plays on us. So, yes, they might be able to slow that run game down a little bit.
I don't think I don't think they'll be able to shut it down at all. Like, I'll be honest with you, I don't think the Chiefs can slow down the Eagles' running game not one bit unless they try to stack the box. But then now you're exposing your linebackers and your corners to one-on-ones, and they don't want that. Like, they don't want AJ Brown one-on-one. They don't want Devontae Smith one-on-one. They don't want Dallas Goedert one-on-one. They don't want to do that. Literally, like you said, the Chiefs are going to have to pick their poison. Do they want to get beat in the air or do they want to get beat on the ground? You know, that's the reality. And this game is going to come down to who wins in the trenches and who makes the least amount of mistakes. You know, I firmly believe that, because I think the only way the Chiefs can only win this game if it's a shootout. You know, they
only win this game is everybody's, the bus caught a flat and the players didn't make it to the stadium. Like, that's
like I'm telling you, if the Eagles are averaging at minimum 4 yards a carry regularly, they're going to win this game. They're going to win this game. The Chiefs have to. I'm telling you, I believe the Chiefs are going to overcommit to stopping the run, and that's going to leave guys like Dallas Goedert open. That's going to leave guys like, Smitty and AJ Brown. But it's going to come down to, the Eagles. I know they're going to want to test these young corners. So can Jalen Hurts get that touchback on his deep ball? I believe he can. Again, I don't want to talk about this game, facetiously or not in good faith. This is going to be a tough game. This is going to be a tough game for both sides because the Chiefs are very well coached. They have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and they got Chris Jones on defense. This game is not just going to, be given to us. Say what you want about. But say what you want about the Chiefs, pass rush. The Chiefs have 55 sacks on the season, so they know how to get to the quarterback, But again, they haven't faced the offensive line this good. That's the reality. They haven't faced the offensive line this good. Some people argue and say that the Eagles haven't faced an offensive line this good because of guys like Creed Humphrey, because of guys like Orlando.
I don't know about that though. Like, the Cowgirls got a pretty good line too.
I think the Chiefs have a better offensive line because they've dealt with less injury. That offensive line has more experience. I think the Chiefs have a better offensive line today than the Dallas Cowboys. Remember, the Dallas Cowboys. Don't get me wrong. They did well, all things considered. They've been shuffling that offensive line all year long, but I think the Chiefs have a better offensive line than the Cowboys. A comparable offensive line, in my opinion, might be the Detroit Lions. Say what you want about the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions have a top.
They have one of the best offensive lines in the league for sure.
Exactly.
See, that's what it goes down to. Like, are you talking about the Lions that can pass block the best or run block the back and do a combination?
Yeah, like it's interesting.
The Detroit
right?
Lions ran that football this whole year, like for real.
Yeah, the Chiefs are better at pass pro.
Yeah,
they're better at pass pro. The Chiefs don't run the ball well. They don't. No. So see what's going to happen is, you're going to. I think you're going to see Patrick Mahomes, and he's been doing this so far, but you're going to see Patrick Mahomes doing a lot of screen passes, screen plays, because what they want to do is they want to try to slow down that pass rush, and Haason Reddick and those boys, they're going to be shot out of a cannon. So I think in order to slow down that pass rush, in order to try to exploit it, I see Andy Reid throwing, drawing up some screen plays, for Pacheco, for Travis Kelce, some tight end screens. Don't be surprised if you see those kind of things to try to slow down the Eagles pass rush.
Yeah, I agree. But see, I just think that is where the biggest discrepancy of this game is, where people will think it's going to be close, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's not going to be close. Because that is the number one thing. Everybody knows Patty Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks ever. You know what I'm saying? He's a $500 million quarterback for a reason. Like he's one of the best backyard football quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. Like, he throws behind the back passes, no lookers all day, and that's all cute and everything. But I think, the narrative's always spun like the Eagles never played a team like the Chiefs. I just think it's the other way around. The Chiefs ain't played the Eagles, and I'm talking about this year Eagles. A lot of people like to look at.
I wouldn't even say team. I would say quarterback. I would say quarterback because the Chiefs team is not impressive. The team is not impressive. It's the quarterback. The only reason
Yeah.
people are saying this game, the only reason the odds makers have the odds where it is because of Patrick Mahomes. That's it. That's it. You know,
And Big Red.
yes, Chris Jones is that dude. Yes, Travis Kelce is that dude. But Patrick Mahomes is why they are where they are. You know what I'm saying? That's Patrick Mahomes is the only reason why this game is supposed to be close.
Right. And they pretty much, like I said, they pretty much lost both games. You know, like they could have lost either one of those games that they played. And I just feel like the narrative spun towards like the Eagles need to worry about them as opposed to like they really just need to worry about us. Like I feel like we're going into this like this. What are you going to do to stop us? You know, what are you going to do to stop us? Either side of the ball. You know, what your offense got on us? We got the best cornerback duo in the league, and now with CJG and freaking Maddox both back, people forget when they were both playing, our defense was shut down. Period. It's when one or the other was hurt. That's when you start seeing a little bit of discrepancy in that defense. They were still good, obviously 70 sacks, but that's when you start seeing a little bit of the passing game kind of opened up for a couple quarterbacks here or there. But when they're both on the field and this defense is healthy, they've been shut down this year. And I think, you're starting to see it over the 2 playoff games. Wonder why, 14 points in 2 playoff games. When does that ever happen? Like it doesn't happen very often, that's for sure. And it's because these guys, we got the best talent, man. Talent wins football games. Defense wins championships. But when you got that much talent on your defense, it's going to win you that football game, man. Like that I just feel like we're built different on another level, Like they can't.
I agree with you. I think the Eagles are significantly better than the Chiefs in every way, except for maybe a couple positions. I just don't. First and foremost, like I said, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I actually think the Eagles are going to win this game by double digits.
Yeah,
I think the Eagles win. I think the Eagles win by 10 points. I haven't come up with my score yet.
Yeah, a lot more than 10.
But I think I think the Eagles win by 10 points because, again, Patrick Mahomes. Look, I'll be honest with you. Patrick Mahomes gonna have to throw this ball like 60 times. I'm telling you, he's gonna have to throw this ball like 50 to 60 times, and it's gonna be all on him to sustain drives. How healthy is that ankle? He hasn't faced a pass rush this dominant. This is the most dominant pass rush in the NFL. How will the right tackle for the Chiefs? What's his name? How will Andrew Wiley deal with Haason Reddick? I don't think he can.
Right.
No
one can right now.
I just don't think the Chiefs have enough. I don't think their overall team is good enough. This isn't like the Chiefs as the number 1 seed is going up against the number 3 seed or the 4 seed. This isn't that. The Eagles have been the most dominant team in the NFL all year long, the most consistent as well. I'm telling you, this isn't going to be one of those games where the Chiefs can just chief their way through it. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes is going to have to play a damn near perfect game because the Eagles are the number 1 pass defense in the NFL. It's just a reality. Now, I will say this. Patrick Mahomes will be the best. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback they will face. He's the best quarterback anybody can face. But Patrick Mahomes, like any quarterback, can make a mistake. Patrick Mahomes is a risk taker. He's a gunslinger. He has become more surgical since losing Tyreek Hill because he's had to be. He's had to be more comfortable with taking the 8 yards, taking the 10 yards, taking the 7 yards, the 5-yard pass. He's become more surgical in that way. And I actually have a lot of love and respect for Patrick Mahomes for adjusting his game. Remember, he still threw for over 5,000 yards without Tyreek Hill. He had nobody really at wide receiver, and he just had Travis Kelce. So I think that's really special.
That's the one thing I do not like. That storyline I've not liked the whole year. Because you look at it like this, like they're like, the Eagles, they got all these star players.
No,
right?
I'm not comparing them to us.
No, I know you're not. I'm just saying like the national media, they're like, and then you look at Patty Mahomes, like Juju Smith-Schuster was a Pro Bowler. And he's had one of the better years this year.
I don't mean wait.
His number 1 receiver, even when Hill was there, his number 1 guy was still Kelce. And Kelce had a phenomenal year.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying the only guy that he really could rely on was Kelce. Everybody else either was hurt, or they just let's really be real
Scandrick,
about
when he left Green Bay, did he not leave Green
All right.
Bay on top? Like he was
All right,
Green
I'm gonna
Bay's
be
best
honest with you
receiver.
because I don't want to. I try not to
Pachero,
disrespect
whatever
people.
that boy's name
But
is. I keep messing his name up
Pacheco's
every time, every show.
yeah, Pacheco's a running back. He's a running
That
back.
dude's a beast, a straight
But hear me out on
dog.
this. Hear me out on this. I hate to disrespect guys, but Juju Smith-Schuster, I'm sorry, he's a B minus. He's a B wide receiver. Like Juju Smith-Schuster is a number 2, right? Marquez Valdez-Scantling on a good team, he's a number 3. You know,
He
Kadarius
was like
Toney.
number 2 on Green Bay. What are you talking about? The year he left Green Bay, he was balling.
I put a lot of that on Aaron Rodgers, but you know, regardless.
Why? Because Aaron's so good and Patty's a good quarterback too.
I understand that, but my point is, the Chiefs wide receivers, they're not world beaters. They're not. You know, when you think about what he's used to having in Tyreek Hill, right? That's a hell of a disparity. That's a hell of a disparity in terms of
Tyreek Hill. You
Hill.
like this, but you go your number one target, right? You go your number one target being Travis Kelce, which I still feel like he was the number one target last year, even with Tyreek Hill. And then you go AJ Brown. That kind of cross cancels each other out, right?
Wait,
and then you go to your next level, like
Patrick Mahomes
no one
has better
expected
weapons
Devontae Smith to be that good.
No, but hear me out though. I'm trying to understand what your point is. Are you trying to say the Chiefs wide receivers are better than what we give them credit for?
Yeah. The overall offense, like the weapons, it's not one individual receiver. I'm just like, those are receivers that, yeah, you might not rely. Like if you had to go pick a team and like, oh, those are receivers and running backs that you had on your roster, you got to realize they had some running backs get hurt. Edward Hilaire was hurt most of the year too.
All their wide receivers will be number 3s in Philly.
Yeah, I get that. But you got to look at they were more accomplished in the NFL. Like, as opposed to ours, like Dallas Goedert, yeah, he's an up and coming, but this is his first year really starting without, you know, what's the bull name? Ertz being in front of him, right?
Real quick.
So you go on. AJ Brown cross cancels out. Wait, hold on. Let me tell you this. AJ Brown cross cancels out the whole Travis Kelce thing because Travis Kelce is a receiving tight end and he is dominant, like number 1 guy, right? So if you take the 2 number 1s out of the picture, and then you go to Devontae Smith, who had a great first year. It was no Pro Bowl year. He's not even a Pro Bowl this year. But Juju Smith-Schuster been in the Pro Bowl. You know, Scanlon's been – I want to say Scanlon went to Pro Bowl too. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty sure that last year at Green Bay, if anything, I think he was an alternate. And then you look at, you know, that Pachero guy. Like, if these guys that he had were dropping balls and doing what we expect them to do, then yes, you could say – he did it with like lesser talent, but these guys all been making plays all year long. That's why we're tied for the best record. That's why we're tied for the most points scored this year. It's because those guys were making plays. If they didn't make the plays, Patty wouldn't have the numbers. If Patty didn't have the numbers, you wouldn't be talking about him like that.
All right, so let me explain.
Like the year Carson Wentz. Remember Carson Wentz was the first quarterback with 4 receivers, less than 500 or like 500 yards. You know, when he got his 4,000-yard season. You know, it's just kind of the same thing. Like, as long as you got players making plays, you can't say that those aren't weapons. That's all gifted. Everybody in the NFL is gifted. And those guys right there, you know, like I said.
See, this conversation is getting iffy for me because it's going to start to sound like I'm disrespecting guys. And the reality is this. Let's really talk about it. Marquez Valdez-Scantling this season, 687 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. No, stop it. Juju Smith-Schuster, he was their number 1 wide receiver. He now granted, Travis Kelce, he's technically their number 1 receiver, but from a wide receiver standpoint, this is Juju Smith-Schuster's numbers: 933 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. Those are number 2 numbers. Number 2.
He is number 2 to Travis.
Those are number 2 numbers. Travis Kelce. You see, my point is, when it comes to scoring the touchdowns, that's Travis Kelce. Yeah. Travis Kelce had 152 targets 152 targets, 110 receptions, just over 1,300 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns. 12 touchdowns. And I'm sorry, like I'm not I'm not going to sit here and say Marquez Valdes-Scantling is a weapon. He's not.
But you say 12 touchdowns, right? How many touchdowns did Patty Mahomes
Travis
get
Kelce
with?
is a weapon. AJ Brown is a weapon. You know, Devontae Smith is a weapon. Deebo Samuel is a weapon. You know what I'm saying? Those are weapons. But Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he wouldn't even be a number 2. He'd be a 3 here. Juju Smith-Schuster, he'd be a 3 in Philly.
But 900 yards. Well, listen, how much love did we give Quez when he had 700 yards? How much love did we give him? Let's be honest. We gave him love for having 700 yards being the number 2, right?
I gave him
like I said, Kelce and AJ cross cancel each other out.
I gave him love because he was a 6th-round pick. He got those numbers in an offense that wasn't pass heavy at all. And he came out of nowhere in terms of just being as effective. But let's be totally honest. Quez Watkins should have never been in that situation to begin with. Quez Watkins is not a number 2.
Yeah, he's number 3.
And I'll be honest with you, some people may hate me for this, but I'm about to say I think Zach Pascal's a better wide receiver than Quez Watkins.
Whoa.
I think he's a better wide receiver. He's a better route runner. He got better hands. He blocks better. Like it's no debate in my opinion. Like that Dallas game with Quez Watkins, I lost not respect. I lost a lot of faith in Quez Watkins after that game. I never saw him. I never saw somebody just get out physical that badly when he had opportunities. Like, I'm being honest with you, the only thing Quez has over Zach Pascal is speed. That's it. He's not a better route runner than Zach Pascal. He's not. Like, I'm gonna tell you, matter of fact, and I'll give you a good reason why. Quez Watkins so fast, he doesn't have to be a good route runner. If you pay attention to the way Quez Watkins runs his routes, he rounds his routes off so much. He doesn't run crisp routes. He's not a disciplined route runner. You want to know why Zach Pascal is a better route runner? You want to know why he's more disciplined? Because he has to be. He's not as fast. He was undrafted. Mm-hmm. What Quez Watkins accomplished in that 1 year with the Eagles last season when he was the number 2, Zach Pascal done did that twice with the Colts already. You know what I'm saying? Like, Zach Pascal did that before. You know, Zach Pascal scores touchdowns when he's with the Colts. Now, obviously, with the Eagles, he wasn't really.
Let's keep it real. Like, Pascal's best years were with Nick was there, right? Last year, Pascal didn't do that great, but the year before, I think.
Yeah, last year because last year, who was the last year? You want to know why? Because Carson Wentz fell in love with, what was the boy name? Pittman. He was drowning Pittman in targets, drowning. But when the Colts had a real quarterback in Phillip Rivers and they had Jacoby Brissett, Zach Pascal, I think he had and he wasn't even the main guy. I think he was like a number 3, something like that at that time. Had like 600, 700 receiving yards, but he has touchdowns too. Like,
my biggest thing is that if you just look at both teams' top 4s, right? Both teams' top 4 weapons. And you go across the league, like both teams got better than the average top weapons. You know what I'm saying?
Kelce,
both teams. There's a lot of other teams that don't even got what we got or don't even got
Kelce and everybody else. It's Kelce and everybody else. I'm being honest with you. It's like when it comes to the Chiefs, it's Kelce and everybody else.
But you just said Kelce only had 12 touchdowns.
No, not only. That's a lot. He had 12
touchdowns. How many touchdowns did Patty Mahomes throw for?
Let me see. That's a good question. Let me find out real quick. I believe he threw for like 40 or something like that. Let me double check.
That's a lot of other touchdowns that he threw to other people.
All right, here we go. Patrick Mahomes threw for 41 touchdowns. Now, here's the thing, right? Let's really break it down. You want to know who has the second most receiving touchdowns on the team? A running back.
McKinnon?
Jerick McKinnon.
But that's just a beat too.
Jerick McKinnon had not. Receiving touchdowns. 9 of them. Matter of fact, I'll put you like this.
What Pacheco had, because I know he had a good year.
Pacheco only had Actually, Pacheco didn't have any receiving touchdowns during the regular season this year. He actually wasn't really a main target in the passing game this season, believe it or not. He wasn't. But Pacheco, he got a lot. He had 170 attempts on the ground, rushing 830 yards, 5 touchdowns. But Travis Kelce, 12 touchdowns. Jerry McKinnon, 9 touchdowns. That's 21 touchdowns right there. That's already half his touchdowns between two dudes. Two dudes, and then it's a big drop off. McCole Hardman had 4. And McCole Hardman got hurt, only played 8 games. Clyde Edwards-Helaire only played 10 games. He got 3 touchdowns. And then you got Juju Smith with 3, Justin Watson with 2, Kadarius Toney with 2, Marquez Valdez-Scantling on the season with 2. He played 7. Marquez Valdez-Scantling played 17 games and only had 2 touchdowns. Only had 2.
How many yards did you say he had?
You know how many, say it again?
How many yards did he had?
687. 687. So Travis Kelce led them in yards. Juju Smith, 933 yards. Marquez, 687 yards. My point is, though, those guys, those guys, they're not. I'm not worried. Matter of fact, you want to know who I was worried about for real? And I'm glad he's not playing. McCole Hardman.
Yeah,
I'm more worried about him than all them dudes. I'm more worried about him.
He's a special team guy too. Like, he can do it on both sides. He can take them punts back, and Hardman. He's been hurt this year too. I'm just saying, Tone, do you understand what I'm saying though? You want to look at us, Dallas Goedert was hurt too much to be considered. Even though I say he's the second best tight end, a lot of the nation probably would throw a couple other guys ahead of him. They'd be like, oh, Kittles or Andrews, or there's a couple other tight ends that they might throw in front of him. But AJ is that bona fide guy. Which when I was on 500, he said his favorite receiver on our team is Smitty. He says Smitty's the best receiver we have. But Smitty had a decent rookie year. He led had the most reception for Eagles. But in terms of overall, he didn't even get a Pro Bowl this year. You know what I'm saying? He's not really considered in the league an elite receiver. Is what I'm basically trying to go with. He's a good receiver, but you can say Juju's a good receiver. You can say Harmon's a good receiver. But these guys, you could say they're all kind of good. But in terms of elite, the only really player on our team that you could say on the receiving side that's elite is AJ.
That's not true. I think Devontae Smith has entered. All right. To your point. Elite. There are every team doesn't even have an elite wide receiver. I personally believe the way the league. Matter of fact, I put you this way, right? I'm glad DM Mohan said that. Smitty, let's just look at it. Let's look at it objectively.
I'm just saying, right? I'm trying to
hold on, wait, real quick. Let's look at it objectively. Okay. What's your definition of elite? Being a top 5 wide receiver, or a top 10? What's your definition of elite?
Well, I guess you would have to go with top 10. I know Smitty's in the top 10. I'm not hating on Smitty.
He's in the top 10.
I'm just saying, most perspective-wise, people don't consider Smitty elite yet. You can do that in terms of number. You can find a Juju Smith year where he was one of the top 10 receiver. You can find a Scandrick year where he had a better year than he had this year. You know what I'm saying? He had good numbers. These are still capable players.
To your point. Okay. You know what? It's so funny you say that, right? It's so funny you say that about Juju. Juju's best season was in 2018. We in 2022, right? But his best season was in 2018. You want to know who was next to him? Antonio Brown. He didn't have to grind in 2018. Antonio Brown was taking double teams. He was going up against the number 2, number 3 corner. Elite guys handle business against the number 1 corner. The moment Antonio Brown left, you want to know what Juju Smith numbers was? Matter of fact, let me make sure I'm making sense, because I want to find out exactly when Antonio Brown left the Steelers. Because
was it 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so Antonio Brown's last season with the Steelers was in 2018, right? In 2018, Antonio Brown played 15 games. All right, so his last season with the Steelers was in 2018, right? Juju Smith's best season with the with the Steelers was in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
You following me, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
2019, when Juju became the man. When Juju became the man in 2019, he was supposed to be the number one. He was supposed to step up. You want to know what his numbers was? And granted, he only played 12 games because he got hurt. But he was only averaging 46 yards a game in 2019. Guess how many yards he had? 552 yards, only 3 touchdowns, averaging 46 yards a game. Juju Smith-Schuster.
But Juju always got that bad name, because I know a lot of fans always talk about Juju. Now I love Juju because I watched him all 4 years at USC. I'm from Cali.
Juju was a big ass kid,
but Juju also does something that doesn't come up on stats though. Juju is one of the best run blocking receivers in the league because he's a big dude. Like Juju run blocks. I think they were doing a little like end of the year review for the Pittsburgh Steelers, last year, and they were saying like, people are missing out because Juju is one of the best run blocking receivers in the game.
Bro, like if we call him a good wide receiver, I don't want to hear about run blocking though.
Well, that's why AJ is really good. Like AJ had to wait to his point to when he got enough targets. He didn't have those targets at Tennessee to put these kind of numbers up.
But here's the thing though. When we talk about AJ run blocking, that's like that's a plus. But AJ Brown is there to catch balls. He's not there to run block. Like, yeah, he's a good run blocker. Even Smitty is a run blocker. Smitty is a really good run blocker, actually.
For his little size,
believe it or not,
yeah,
he probably can't hold.
He gets in the way enough for sure.
He probably can't hold the block forever, but he hold it long enough for you to get in the end zone. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't. See, I'll bring up run blocking with a guy like Zach Pascal, a number 3 and number 4. I'll bring up run blocking.
I'm not calling them. I'm not saying that the Chiefs got elite receivers.
No, he's not saying they're elite, y'all. He's not saying that. But
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the narrative of like they don't have playmakers. Like they got enough playmakers. That's why they have Patty has as many yards as he has. That's why they have the same amount of yards because he Patrick Mahomes. The same exact amount as us.
He got that many yards because he Patrick Mahomes. That's what it is. Patrick Mahomes could throw it to a trash can and he'll.
Okay, let's go to this argument here. Okay, now, would this team be overall better if we swap quarterbacks? Because I know a lot of people like, oh man, you put Patty Mahomes with hold on. They go, oh man, you put Patty Mahomes with AJ, Smitty, Goddard, Quez. He'll have 5,000-6,000 yards passing. What you don't realize is this, though. And this is the reason why the Chiefs will lose the Super Bowl. Mark this down. Because Patty Mahomes plays for who? Andy Reid. Why did Andy Reid get fired from the Eagles? Because he couldn't get it together. Because what did Andy Reid love to do? Nothing but pass the football. I always tell people like this. If Jalen Hurts, he was tops in the league in terms of quarterback rating by the end of that season, right? He was top in the league, 1-on-1 rating. Jalen Hurts. If he threw the ball 40, 50 times a game, you know what I'm saying? His stats will look a lot different in terms of passing than Patty. It'd be a lot closer to Patty Mahomes than what it is right now, right? So.
But that's not what Jalen Hurts does.
I'm just saying, like, if you brought Patty Mahomes here, yeah, you might get a 5,000-yard quarterback, but you don't have a better offense.
All right. So your original question was if you swap the quarterbacks, if you put Jalen Hurts on the Chiefs and you put Patrick Mahomes on the Eagles, like, does that change anything? That's pretty much what your question was, right? Like pretty much who.
So we know that Andy's going to try to throw the ball 40, 50 times no matter what. So that might not be.
That hurts Jalen.
That hurts Jalen, right?
That hurts Jalen. And actually being honest with you, like, see, I don't like having this conversation because it would imply that anybody could play in this. See, like, first of all, forget the system itself. Forget the system because the system is for Jalen Hurts. This system is for Jalen Hurts, and the way the Chiefs play is for Patrick Mahomes. But that way that Chiefs play is the same way that Andy played with the Eagles the whole time. That's cool. Too. That's cool, but that's not my point. If you eliminate the systems and just swap talents, because at the end of the day, if you put Patrick Mahomes in the Eagles system, he's naturally going to pass less. and you're going to ask him to do RPOs, but that's not what Patrick Mahomes does. So again, you have to, like, when you're having this conversation and saying if you swap quarterbacks, you got to eliminate the systems because these systems are designed for these players. You know,
Right.
Jalen Hurts wouldn't thrive in an Andy Reid type of system. Patrick Mahomes, he would kind of be, some would say he'd be underutilized in a Nick Sirianni system. You know what I'm saying? And Dan Burrito, I'm not saying the Chiefs don't run RPOs. Everyone runs a variation of RPOs, but not as much as the Eagles. So but my point is, if you just swap talents, if you give Patrick Mahomes the Eagles roster and you give Jalen Hurts the Chiefs roster, and again, I hate this
conversation. More deadly.
I hate this conversation, but we all know, and I think we all can definitively say this without a shadow of a doubt: Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. That's not a conversation. That's not a
conversation. I'll have that conversation with anybody.
It's not a debate.
It is a debate.
It's really not.
I think it is. We already know Patty's ceiling. Patty's been good for a while now. We know his ceiling. He's down with the trick plays. He's down with the backyard football. And we know for a fact that those passing numbers are going to keep going up because Andy Reid will keep throwing that damn ball. Now, with Jalen Hurts in his second year starting, he's like top 10 in both categories, quarterback and running back. That's two different positions, my guy. Like, no one gives Jalen that credit for being like tops in two different positions.
We're not talking about listen. We listen.
But like I said, if Jalen threw the ball, how many games Jalen threw the ball like 20 times?
I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. I want to make it very clear to the viewers. I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. I love Jalen Hurts, and they play the quarterback position differently. Period. They play the quarterback position differently. And like Dan Burrito said, Jalen Hurts provides a different dynamic. They play the position differently. That's just the reality. And I firmly believe there's more than one way to play the quarterback position. I firmly believe that as well. But from a pure talent standpoint, when you watch Patrick Mahomes and you watch Jalen Hurts, you can ask 100 people on this planet. Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, man. But they go off narratives, because you just kind of even.
This isn't about narrative.
You just tell me my argument there.
With our eyes. This isn't about narrative.
Okay, with your eyes. What other quarterback have you seen make some of the best throws and some of the best runs in the same season? You can say Patty made some of the best throws, but Jalen's made some pretty awesome throws this year.
That's not what he's asked to do.
But you can't say that Patty's had some of the best runs you've ever seen in a football game, and Jalen's done that every year he's been in. You know, that's the difference. I think that it's to the narrative where people are just so scared to.
I'm not scared.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
It's just I'm just saying,
like, we go off the media perception, right? And the media perception, they're so scared to give him the love that he really deserves. They always say that
we gotta start that right there, like, because what's going on right now is the unfortunate part about this conversation is it's going to always sound like I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. It's going to sound like that.
We're not hating on either quarterback. Hey, both quarterbacks
that's not
are
the case. Jalen Hurts has taken his game to a level that none of us saw coming. I don't care what anybody say. We all knew he would improve, but the way he's played this year, nobody saw it coming. Period. We all knew he would get better.
Last year, you knew it was coming.
Listen.
We all knew at the end of that. Playoff that our team was not talented enough to talk playoff Super Bowl because our team wasn't talented enough. But Jalen Hurts showed with the weapons that he had last year that he's doing the same thing. He's just got better weapons so the numbers look better.
No, he's not doing the same thing. He's a better passer. He's not doing the same thing. He's passing
the ball. How many drops we had last year?
He's not. He's passing the ball better this year.
But we talked about it last year how many drops our receivers because they weren't as good. Even though they dropped a lot of balls last year.
We understand that, but we're talking about the quarterback's ability to get the job done. Jalen Hurts has taken his game to. Jalen Hurts is playing way better this year than last year. He's playing way
better. I'm not hating on him. He definitely did his thing in his offseason.
Now, obviously, adding AJ Brown helps that. But Jalen Hurts is playing way better this year. I understand he only had Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert last year. Some people would say that's a pretty nice core. But when you couple that with having a new head coach, a new starting quarterback, a rookie wide receiver.
That also stunted Jalen's growth.
That's not the best mix for success. It's not. So what I'm trying to say is, as great as Jalen Hurts has been this year, as great as he has been, I think Patrick Mahomes, matter of fact, I don't even think it's, I know.
You only know it because he's been in the league longer, Tone.
Well, that's for a longer period of time. It's a bird game. We got to operate with what we know. We got to operate with what we have.
Yeah, I get it.
We can't have honest conversations about what hasn't happened yet.
But it happened because
that's why I don't compare. That's why I don't compare Jalen to Patrick Mahomes. That's why I actually don't make that comparison.
But it's different though. I feel like if Patty Mahomes wasn't in an Andy Reid offense, he wouldn't have the same numbers. We love Patty for his magical passing. We love Patty for extending plays, making plays happen, backyard football that we've never seen before. And I give him that. And I'm not even, listen, guys, I'm not saying Patty's not one of the best, and he isn't
he is the best.
Top 2 or 3.
He's the best.
But I'm saying Jalen Hurts is bringing a different style of football that the NFL has never even seen. You can't say Lamar did it. You can't say Dalvin Knapp did it. You can't say Michael Vick did it. You can't say none of these guys did it the way Jalen's done it.
We're not talking about Michael Vick. We're not talking about Lamar Jackson.
A dynamic running back.
You asked me a very straightforward question.
That's really problems for defense.
You asked me a very straightforward question. You said if they swap talent, you asked me a very straightforward question. You asked if they swap talent, who would be in a better situation? Who would be more successful? Right?
Patrick
Mahomes.
In terms of what though? You talking about passing
talent. If they swap talent, Patrick. And again, we're not talking about the systems, you guys. I want to make that very clear. We're not talking about the systems.
But Andy Reid would try to throw Jalen Hurts' arm out.
No, that's what he does. You're talking about the system again. But you compare Patty to Donovan McNabb. You want to do that? You wouldn't be comparing him to Jalen Hurts.
You'd be comparing him to Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb also took his team. They only won one Super Bowl in 5 tries, right?
You asked me that question. I didn't compare.
I get what you're saying. I'm not even trying to attack you per se.
No, I don't feel that way.
I'm just saying, like, when you look at the perspective, it's not real because you can't quantify passing yards from a guy that throws the ball 40, 50 times a game. Any quarterback that throws the ball 40, 50 times a game is going to have a lot of numbers, especially when you added a whole other game. I'm talking about his impact on the game itself.
Let me ask you this. Why does he throw the ball 40, 50 times a game? Tell me why.
Because that's what Reid does, period.
It's not that simple.
He did it with us, Tom.
No, it's not that simple.
He did the exact same thing with us.
It's not that simple.
And when he didn't have the talent, he looked suspect. And that's why he's not our coach no more.
It's not
that
simple.
You have the talent, you don't look suspect.
It's not that simple. Matter of fact, I'll put it like this: the Chiefs run the Chiefs pass run ratio is about 60-40. It's about 60-40. You want to know why they pass that ball the way they do? They have no running game.
Listen,
they have no running game. You want to know why Josh Allen and them boys throw the ball the way they do? You want to know why Josh Allen throw the ball the way he do? And first of all, it's a passing league, period. It's a passing league. Everybody's passing more. With the Philadelphia, yes, that's a fact. We are in a passing league. What Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are doing actually goes against the norm. It goes against the grain.
It's just smart football. You run the football to establish the pass. You never, ever in the history of football did you pass to set up the run. You always run to set up the pass. So anybody that says it's a pass lead, and that's how they want to coach by throwing the ball 40, 50 times, they're doing it wrong. And that's the reason why the Chiefs only have one Super Bowl out of 5 times going. Because at the end of the day, you can't run that football. You're not winning championships, my guy.
That's not true. You want to know? That's not true.
One championship. Just like Aaron Rodgers.
You want to know why they lost to the Bucs? They didn't lose to the Bucs because they passed the ball a lot. You want to know why they lost to the Bucs? They lost to the Bucs because both they left tackle and right tackles was out of the game. They couldn't hold the block. He couldn't do nothing. He couldn't do nothing.
But 1 out of 5, Tone. That's one loss they lost. That means they lost 4 times. But they didn't make it to the Super Bowl or lost 4 times.
Been there 3 times.
1 out of 5.
He's only been to 3 Super Bowls.
3 Super Bowls, but 5 AFC championships, meaning like they lost in the last 2 games 4 times because they don't run the football enough.
That's my point.
But that's the coaches. That's the game plan.
They never had a running game.
That's Andy Reid's game plan.
They never had a running game.
Dougie P's not here. He won a Super Bowl with us, and Dougie P's not here because he got you having passing the ball.
He had a running game. My point is the running game will never go out of style.
Did Dougie P have Miles Sanders?
He had LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi. Are you smoking dope?
Yeah, he did that Super Bowl. But I'm saying after, when the next 2 years before he got fired, he had a running back.
What are you talking about? You talking about Andy Reid's last couple years?
I'm talking Dougie P after he won the Super Bowl. He still was passing the ball. He had a running back. He still was passing the football because that's what those type of coaches like to do.
Yeah, you don't think? I'll put you this way: you don't think Nick Sirianni want to pass that ball? Nick Sirianni want to pass that ball. He want to pass that ball 40 times a game, but he can't. You want to know why? Because that would be counterproductive to Jalen Hurts' success. We saw it last year. We
only seen that in the first 5 games of the season last year. And that's when Jalen Hurts was saying
we had enough, right? What was we saying? What was we saying? We had enough, right? What was we saying? You didn't need to
throw the ball 40 times with a rookie quarterback like Jalen.
What were we saying? In those first 5-6 games, what were we saying? Matter of fact, it was the first 6 or 7 games because they was 2-5 before the winning streak. What were we saying? We were saying they're not running the ball enough. You see, when you throw the ball that many times, when you throw the ball as many times as the Bengals, or when you throw the ball as many times as the Chiefs or the Bills, you got to have a quarterback that can do that. That can do that and still win.
But you're saying that, right, Tone? But the Bills ain't won no damn Super Bowl.
We're not. That's not my point.
No, wait. When you think of the best quarterbacks, you go on Josh Allen, Burrows, Mahomes. Before you even think about Jalen, these guys are good stat. It's kind of like you might as well even throw Dak in that category because he has great regular seasons too. It's about balanced football, man. At the end of the day, defense wins championships.
I agree with you. I agree with
like
you.
Those coaches that you're talking about, they want to pass that ball. I think Nick seen last year, he realized no matter how bad I want to go out there and pass the ball, I got an offensive line that's bigger than the defensive line, and we need to run that football too.
Listen,
see what happened when we ran the football.
Coaches, what they have to do, coaches have to build their game plan. Coaches have to carve their scheme and their game plan and according to their talent. That's what they had to do. They had to carve it out in accordance with their talent. So when you go ahead,
he just got receivers though. I think that's where that argument stops. He just got receivers. He got AJ. He got Goddard. He got Smitty last year. So he had the receiver, but he's still running that football this year because he understands football. You got to run it. You got to run it regardless of how many times you want to throw.
I'm not saying you don't. What do we? Okay. Like really,
like the Bucks when they won. When the Bucks won, right?
Okay, seriously.
They had what that boy name?
What are we debating right now?
The running back for the Bucks. Fournette. Fournette was running that rock, and Jones, both of them boys were running that rock. That's when they won their Super Bowl, right? When the Rams won, Akers and what's the other running back they had on the Rams? They did their thing.
What are we debating? Because I'm not saying a running game is not important. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying like the coaches, like you're saying, like we're still going back to our original debate. If you put Patty on our team, we still don't win no Super Bowl, man. We're going to win a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts is
I'll put it to you like this.
If you put Jalen if you're saying systems out, you put Jalen on the Chiefs team, I say they still make it.
They don't. They won't.
They do.
They won't because Jalen won't have no running backs. He won't have no defense. He won't have no, they won't. No, they won't.
If Hilaire doesn't get hurt, Hilaire's a good running back. No, they and won't. And Pacheco's a good little rookie. That was two tight running backs.
In the AFC? No, they
Kelce,
won't.
Man. Kelce's the best tight end in the game. Bro. Whenever you have Ely, just like the Patriots, when they have Ron Gronkowski, he's the best tight end in the game, right?
You're overvaluing the Chiefs wide receivers. You're overvaluing those wide receivers.
I'm saying like this. When the Patriots, right? We always said they won Super Bowls with nobody. We've said that, except for Ron Gronkowski. Now, Gronkowski was the best receiver, tight end in the game when he played for the Patriots, and they won them Super Bowls. Right? Now, it's the same thing with the Chiefs. Like, he's got the best tight end in the game. Tight end is a huge position. If you can be an elite tight end, I think it's even better than being an elite receiver on the outside. You're affecting two separate parts of the game.
So you're saying because so what you're saying is you're saying Travis Kelce is enough. Having Travis Kelce is enough. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying it's enough, but it's a starter that he's got the pressure. Travis Kelce has the pressure of making the big plays on that team. The other guys just got to do their damn job. And they've done their damn job this year. That's what I'm saying.
Patrick Mahomes elevates guys like Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yes.
I really hate this.
It makes it easier for those guys. Let's not say elevate, because every game in and game out, really everybody double teaming Travis.
It really sounds like I'm down in Jalen Hurts. You're not. It really sounds that way.
You're not taking it that way.
But it needs to be understood that like as good as Jalen Hurts is, as good as he is,
you don't look at the whole dual threat part of it.
I am looking at it.
You don't look at the whole when you talk to all the offensive line, our offensive linemen, they say their job's easier because our quarterback is Jalen Hurts, and they've had Kelce's had other quarterbacks big, like fucking Carson Wentz in his prime, and he is a pocket quarterback. They've had other style quarterbacks. They all let you know that those quarterbacks were good on the Eagles, but having a guy like Jalen Hurts makes their job easier. Miles Sanders, we've been waiting for him to break 1,000 yards. He broke 1,300 yards this year. It was easier because a guy like Jalen Hurts is their quarterback. The whole offense itself runs better because Jalen Hurts was the quarterback. When Jalen Hurts was out those 2 games,
I don't disagree, BG. What do you? I don't disagree.
I'm saying that's a dynamic that Patty Mahomes wouldn't have been able to bring if he bring Patty Mahomes to the Eagles.
You're talking about the system again. The system is designed for his skills. Jalen Hurts' skill set. When Jalen Hurts was in the Eagles with the Eagles, they changed the offense. When they first had him starting, he was passing the ball like 30, 40, damn near 50 times a game. They said that's not his play style. That's not what he wanted to do. He wants a more balanced attack. He wants to throw the ball. He wants to throw the ball 25 to 35 times a game. He also wants to run the ball. He wants to get RPOs going. That's his style of football. But when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes who can throw the ball on the string, who's talented enough to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game and win you the game that way, that's the way you're going to call football games, especially when you have a running game.
Last year or this year?
I'm telling you, if I
promise you, had more yards last year with Tyreek Hill or this year.
I promise you, if Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes had a reliable running game, they would throw the ball significantly less.
I'm telling you, Tone. Last year, when did he have more yards? Last year or this year?
Who?
Patty Mahomes. When he had Tyreek Hill last year, did he have more yards this year without him?
What point are you trying to make?
I'm trying to make a point that it is a system too, but I'm saying he's only valuable at passing the football as opposed to both. He's not as valuable. Jalen Hurts is valuable still because no one expected him to take that leap this year, but he made that leap this year. If Jalen Hurts threw the ball to more, he would be putting up big numbers.
Patrick Mahomes is not a dual threat quarterback. Of course, his value is his arm, but as a quarterback, that's your most valuable asset, your arm. As a quarterback, your most valuable asset is your arm. Yes, Jalen Hurts brings a different dynamic to the quarterback position. That Jalen Hurts plays the quarterback position differently than most people.
Simone.
But what's up, Simone? How you doing? But the bottom line is, as a quarterback, your most valuable asset is your arm. Period.
It's leadership to me.
Huh?
It's leadership to me. Your quarterback. Think how many
Super Bowl
quarterback. Okay, look like this. Eli Manning. How many Super Bowls Eli Manning got? Is he the best passer of the football?
Are we talking about skill set or are we talking about intangibles?
Well, I'm just saying, if you're saying your quarterback, the most valuable is passing the ball, Eli Manning wasn't the best. He still got 2 Super Bowl rings. I'm talking about winning football games, winning championships, being dominated.
No, you're changing the argument. You're changing the argument. We're talking about talent. We're talking about play style. Period. You start talking about leadership. You start talking about Eli.
But even play style, Tone, that you're top to 2 separate positions compared to 1, that don't make you. I gotta understand. Listen, if Jalen Hurts was the 15th best quarterback in the league with the numbers he had and the rushing numbers, I can understand why you make that argument because that's how most dual threat quarterbacks been. They've been good running and then they're like middle of the pack, a little bit above middle of the pack in terms of passing. Jalen Hurts
plays it differently. Jalen Hurts is different.
Jalen Hurts is tops in passing, and he's tops in running. That's the whole other thing that we haven't seen before. Is what I'm saying. And we all can agree that he hasn't peaked out. We've seen Patty play for 6 years. We've only seen.
I didn't say Jalen Hurts peak. I didn't say Jalen Hurts peak.
No, I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying to be where he's at the time that he's at. Like, I just feel like people haven't seen his style of football to the point where it's so easy to throw another name out. It's so easy, even like this guy right here. Dang, like Tebow was a great leader. I get it. But Tebow never played like Jalen Hurts. Since the moment this fool was a starter, every week we're sitting here like, oh wow, Jalen just broke another record. Wow, Jalen just broke another one. Wow, Jalen. I don't remember that, Mahomes' first 2 years. I just don't. I don't remember hearing every week. You're like, dang, Mahomes just broke another record. Wow, he's the first player to do what? He's the first player to do what? Every single week? And that's carried on to this year. Jalen still does stuff. He's done a lot of things that no other quarterback's ever done in the game. Period.
Because he plays the quarterback differently. So they're comparing his stats to a different metric. Patrick Mahomes in his first year starting. Patrick Mahomes' first year starting, you know what he did? He threw for over 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns on 12 interceptions. You talking about people wasn't talking about him?
But like you said, it was a passing league, Tone. Rules are regulated for the passing to be a lot easier, right? Aren't we playing in that league where cornerbacks can't really touch a receiver? So to me, that's where, since it is a passing league, and Jalen Hurts makes that much of an impact, not just being a passer, that's why he gets the nod. So it's a passing league. It's set up for you to throw 5,000 yards. Breeze did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, easily with his stats.
So what's your point? Because I'm not, everything you said about Jalen Hurts, I completely agree with. Everything you're saying about Jalen Hurts, I completely agree with. What's the point you're making compared to Patrick Mahomes?
The point I'm making is that Eagles wouldn't be as good in the system that we're in right now without Jalen Hurts, or even Jalen Hurts is more important.
I'm not putting Patrick Mahomes
in the Eagle system. In general, if you got a smart enough coach to know that
I'm not putting Patrick Mahomes in the Eagle system. That's not designed for him.
I'm saying, okay, I guess the main argument, I'm saying that Jalen's better than Patrick.
He's not.
He is.
He's not.
He is.
Matter of fact, let's ask the chat right now. Let's ask the chat.
You can ask the chat, nigga. Of course, they're gonna say.
Yo, live chat.
Patty's better.
Live chat. Real quick. And I need y'all to be as unbiased as y'all can. Who's better at the quarterback position today?
Well, see, that's where he goes. That question alone is so variable because some people think it's all about passing. Some people think it's about.
They're both quarterbacks. What do you want me to say? Who's a better quarterback / running back? What do you want me to say?
No, I know you said it the right way, but I'm just saying the perspective and the narrative is always going to go to who has the most passing yards.
Let's ask the chat for real. Like, who's a better quarterback? Matter of fact, I got a better question for you. If you start in your franchise today, if you are starting your franchise, you on Madden and you're doing a fantasy draft. If you listen, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all another chance to vote. If you playing Madden and you doing your fantasy draft and you got the number 1 overall pick, Who are you picking?
Let's go. I'm seeing a lot more Jalen than I expected. I like it.
But let's be real.
And that it is no shade on either quarterback.
And like, hold on, wait. Arthur Brown said leadership matters. So are we saying Patrick Mahomes isn't a leader?
The quarterback more than his passing yard.
People lead in different ways. And this conversation, again, I'm a Jalen Hurts guy, but I'm also unbiased as well.
But it's not about being biased.
No, it is.
It's not, because that's what you're saying. You're saying because he threw 5,000 yards, he's a better quarterback.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. He's a better quarterback. The odds tell me that.
So you see more big plays from Patty than you see from Jalen this year?
What?
You see more big plays from Patty than you see from Jalen this year.
Patrick Mahomes didn't have a big play threat this year. His big play threat was gone.
Okay.
His big play threat was gone.
That's what I'm saying. That's where you're missing it, Tone. Because I still see Jalen still make plays. Like, Patty made some behind, no look passes. It's awesome. His little scoop underneath thing. The backyard football's epic from Patty Mahomes. But I'm saying I've seen Jalen throw dimes all year long. Plus, he has runs that are the best runs. He's not even a running back. He has some of the best runs in the NFL too. He's doing it. He's like two positions in one.
I've seen Mahomes throw dimes all year long.
And you see Jalen throw dimes all year long.
With worse weapons. With worse weapons. Like, come on.
188 fewer attempts? Come on.
What does that mean?
That means the more you pass the football, the more your yards are going to go up. Jalen missed 2 games.
I'm not even talking about yards no more. I'm not even talking about stats. I'm talking about the eye test. I'm not even talking about stats. I'm talking about the eye test. Like Jalen is a top 10 passer in the NFL.
And a top 10 runner. That's where you're missing it. You're saying Jalen's a top 10 passer, but you're not giving him he's a top 10 runner in the NFL too. And he needs that. We have 39 touchdowns, the most ever. He has 15 or 16, 16 touchdowns.
I'm not taking that away from him.
Quarterback ever. Like, you got to add that into the equation.
I'm not taking that away from him.
Quarterback. And anybody that, is a starting quarterback, period, is a quarterback. I don't get the whole, you got to pass, you got to do this or that, the other. Once you're a quarterback, you're a quarterback. When Michael Vick was running for over 1,000 yards, they're like, he's a quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to give it them the respect.
Tell me why.
I'm not saying you either.
Matter of fact, Dick asked a very good question. Dick Burrito asked a very good question. Why is he passing 600, 700 times? Why?
Because that's what his coaches want him to do.
No, he has no running game, BG.
Listen, last year, Hilaire. Go back to last year when they had Hilaire had a great rushing season. Hilaire,
they have no consistent
running game.
They have no consistent running game. The Bills and the Chiefs have no consistent running game. Miles Sanders
had a great year last year.
Miles Sanders is better than any running back the Chiefs and Bills have had in the past 3 years.
But he just had his first 1,300-yard game.
Why is that? Why?
I'm saying
you think. Hold on,
running back that played good before. You're missing a point. When they won the Super Bowl, they were running that football.
Listen, real quick. You said Miles Sanders had his first 1,000-yard season, right? You want to know why? You want to know why? Because he actually stayed healthy.
No, because Jalen Hurts.
No, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna do this. Look at the numbers. Matter of fact, we're doing it right. I'm pulling a Miles Sanders number right now.
I love it.
I'm pulling a Miles Sanders numbers right now.
Hit that like on both channels, guys. Subscribe to both.
I'm pulling a Miles Sanders numbers right now. Because this is what we're not gonna do. And what kills me about this is I'm a Jalen Hurts bull to the death of me.
And I like Patty Mahomes too. I'm a Jalen Hurts guy. But I'm saying my argument.
I defend Jalen Hurts to the end of the world because of the way he plays the quarterback position. I love the way he played the quarterback. He played the quarterback position differently. Period. But let's talk about Miles Sanders since we're here now. Let's talk about Miles Sanders. You claim Miles Sanders had his first 1,000. You claim Miles Sanders had his first 1,000-yard season because of Jalen Hurts, right?
1,300-yard season, not just 1,000.
What?
1,300 yards.
He had 1,269 yards on the ground. He had a 1,200-yard season, not a 1,300-yard season. But now we're splitting hairs. The bottom line is this: you claim Miles Sanders had his first 1,000-yard season because of Jalen Hurts, right? Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why that's false. Why? Jalen Hurts makes it easier for him. That's true. But let me tell you why that's false. In 2019, and matter of fact, we're never going to use the rookie year because the rookie year I actually think his rookie year was better than this year because he was a threat not just in the running, but he was a threat in the pass game. But I'll say this, right? Let's go his past 2 seasons prior to this one. Again, I want to make sure we got this clear. You're claiming Miles Sanders had his first 1,000-yard season because of Jalen Hurts, right? I want to confirm that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Weren't running the football until we had Jalen Hurts.
I'm gonna tell you why that point is misleading. In 2020,
I'm gonna put you solo cap.
Hold on.
I'm putting you solo cap for. Hold on, I got you.
All right, yeah, no problem. Let me tell you all this. In 2020, Miles Sanders, he played in. No, I'm sorry. In 2020, Miles Sanders had 164 rush attempts 867 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, and he was averaging 72 yards a game. Guess how many games he played? Listen, again, he had 867 rushing yards because that's what we're talking about for real. Let's focus on the yards. In 2020, he had 867 rushing yards, y'all. How many games did he play? Miles Sanders played in 12 games with 867 yards rushing. So if you do the math based off his average, which was 72 yards per game, let me pull up the calculator because we're not going to act like Miles Sanders all of a sudden just got good all of a sudden. That's what we're not going to do. Miles Sanders could have been had 1,000-yard season, but he couldn't stay healthy. So here we go. Miles Sanders, 2020, he had 867 rushing yards. He was averaging 72 yards a game. If Miles Sanders would have stayed healthy all year, because he only played in 12 games, if Miles Sanders would have stayed healthy all year in 2020, you want to know how many rushing yards he would have had? He would have had over 1,100 rushing yards if he would stay healthy in 2020. Miles Sanders didn't have his. Let's go with
your argument, Tone.
What?
You know, 2 things about your argument that doesn't go valid.
Also, what?
2020, who was our head coach? And who was the quarterback? We're not talking about. We had Carson Wentz. I'm about to debunk that too.
Yo, BG.
Carson Wentz as a quarterback. And BG was passing that ball.
BG,
so
he had.
You can look at that, but you can't even say that he was for sure had gotten those carries because our coach
you're not being, bro. Listen, this is not even about feelings no more. This is about math. This is about math now. This ain't about nothing else but math.
What's the bigger argument we have about Miles Sanders and why he ain't been great? He didn't get the carries. He didn't get the carries.
No, the biggest argument about Miles Sanders is his health. He can't stay.
The carries too. The carries too. Dougie P likes to throw the ball just like. And
I'm not denying that, but you're implying his first 1,000-yard season you're implying he got his first 1,000-yard season because of Jalen Hurts, and that's not true.
Because Jalen Hurts is a real dual threat that runs that route and opens up the running lane for the running back. So the coach trusted Miles to get enough handoff to do it.
That's not true. That's not true, BG. He played in 12 games in 2020, and he had 867 rushing yards. If he would have played all 16 games, you know how many yards he would have had? That ain't got nothing to do with touches.
You never said that Miles deserved the ball. That wasn't the biggest narrative coming into last year.
That's not what we're talking about, though. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
That is what we're talking about. Because if Miles had the ball, we all agreed that even before Jalen got this, if Miles got the carry, he would have been a 1,000-yard rusher.
I'm using what you said. You literally said out your mouth, the reason Miles Sanders got his first 1,000-yard season is because of Jalen Hurts, and I'm saying that is false. He got his first 1,000-yard season because he stayed healthy. Miles Sanders for his career is averaging how many yards a carry? 5 yards an attempt.
Fact.
5 yards. We can do the math like this, BG. In 2020, matter of fact, in 2020, right? Out of the 12 games he played, he was averaging 72.3 yards a game. 72 yards times 16 games is 1,152 yards. By that metric, if he would have stayed healthy, he would have got over 1,000 yards probably by game 14, 15. Let's go to 2021 now, where he actually got his least amount of attempts. In 2021,
no, he dropped him 19.
Say it again.
Did we drop him 19 or?
I skipped 19 because that was his rookie year.
Okay.
But his rookie year was better than his second season, his third season. But that's besides the point. In 2021, Miles Sanders again only stayed healthy for 12 games. He only had 137 attempts, but he had 754 yards through 12 games, averaging 62 yards per game. You want to do the math again? 62 yards times 16. Where is it? 62.8. 62.8 times 16 games. That's 1,000 yards.
You're going straight line on me, Tone. Don't go straight line on me. You got to keep the facts where it's at. It's about the coach and the style of play that the team's playing with. Like that was our number one gripe with our team, our coach, our offensive coach is not moving well enough. Even last year, even last year, you probably say he could have even got 1,000 yards.
So to your point, right? To your point,
games we actually ran the football.
To your point, right? To your point, because let's keep it real. Assuming everything you say is correct, because you actually are correct. Doug Peterson didn't actually get the ball to Miles Sanders enough. I agree with you on that. Right? But to your point, Miles Sanders was averaging 13 attempts per game in 2020. Even then, he was averaging, because the conversation is not about his attempts. The conversation is about his yards, not his attempts. Even with those little attempts, he was averaging 5 yards a carry. BG, 5 yards a carry. So, yeah, I agree with you. Miles Sanders should have got the ball more, but he could have got 1,000 yards 3 seasons in a row if he would have stayed healthy. If he would have stayed healthy. Like we can't pretend that all of a sudden when Jalen Hurts got there, Miles Sanders is just running the ball better. That's not technically true.
But you heard Miles come out and say it's true, basically.
He's going to say that. It's his quarterback, it's his teammate. He's going to say that.
No. It's one thing to say it because the question was, they were asking
in 2020. Miles Sanders was averaging 5. In 2020, Miles Sanders was averaging 5.3 yards a carry. In 2021, he was averaging 5.5 yards per carry. In 2022, he's averaging 4.9 yards a carry.
He got more carries though.
Why?
The more you do, the more that number's gonna go down a little bit.
He stayed healthy too.
Yeah, like I feel like someone said both are right in this situation. Like I feel like he's got more opportunity this year than any other year to put up big numbers, and he's not about much.
Listen, real quick. Miles Sanders, he's averaging more attempts this year, but not by much. I'll put it this way: in Miles Sanders' rookie year, he was averaging 11 attempts per game on the ground. In 2020, he was averaging almost 14 attempts a game. In 2021, he was averaging 11 attempts a game. In 2022, he was averaging 15 attempts a game. That's not a crazy disparity.
Yeah,
that's not a crazy difference. So he's not really getting the ball that much more.
But look how many yards you talk about. Even when you were doing that math, you're talking about 1,100, 1,000. He had 1,200, almost 1,300 yards.
He had 12. He had 1,269. This season he was averaging more. This season he was averaging 74 yards on the ground per game. In 2020 he was averaging 72 yards per game. You mean to tell me a 2-yard difference is going to make that much of a difference?
I just mean to tell you that it's easier for him.
It's easier because of the read option. Yes, the gaps open up.
But it's not just the read option, because we ran read option before.
So what is it then?
We're running read option.
Jalen Hurts' presence.
Read option
Jalen Hurts' presence.
2017 with Nick Foles.
Jalen
Hurts can't run a lick.
But no, hold on, slow down. Because we didn't even have Miles Sanders, but we didn't even have Miles Sanders with Nick Foles.
I'm just saying in general, we ran a read option before. It wasn't bringing that much.
No.
We ran running game.
We ran RPOs, the run pass option. It's a difference. What Jalen Hurts brings to the table at the quarterback position makes it harder for people to deal with both Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. That's an absolute fact. But the conversation was Jalen Hurts is the reason why he had his 1,000-yard season, his first 1,000-yard season. That is not true.
Maybe I should say
he makes it easier. That's a fact.
His best season, instead of just the 1,000 yards part. Would you agree with that?
Do I believe Jalen Hurts is the reason why Miles Sanders had his best season?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he has more touchdowns. He has more yards. But compared to his 2020 season and his 2022 season, it's only a 2-yard difference. It's only a 2-yard difference.
Well,
so I don't understand why we're trying to pretend that. Let me see something.
I love this conversation in general. Look at that, baby. 39 rushing touchdowns, most ever. You know why? Because Jalen Hurts. Okay, 16-1.
My man
About to
Jimmy
be
Six says
17-1 because
Favre's.
of Jalen Hurts.
No one's disagreeing with that. See, I don't like how you framing this because I'm not disagreeing with you about Jalen Hurts' effectiveness.
I know.
That's not what I'm saying.
I get it. I'm not saying you're saying
Joey
that either.
says, "Oh, 5 or 6 games this year, they didn't even run with Miles in the first half. That's scary. Imagine the yards.
Yeah,
That's my point. That's my point. Imagine the yards if he would have stayed healthy. Imagine if he would have stayed healthy. Miles Sanders has never been a 20-yard back. Throughout his career, he's always ranged between 11 to 15 touches per game. That's not that big of a difference. The reason I say I can only give Jalen Hurts but so much credit is because Miles Sanders has averaged more yards per carry in previous seasons.
But you gotta look at the other backs too. Like Gainwell's always done it. Like the last 2 years, Gainwell make sure he goes in there and gets his touchdown, gets his yards. Boston Scott's always went in there and did his little thing. We had, Howard. Everybody was clamoring for Howard to be the start running back. We've always had like a three-headed monster. Even back when you go to the Deuce Staley days, Westbrook days, like we've always had that three-headed monster. It's like it was never really like it takes to be a full lead back. You know what I'm saying? A Derrick Henry type guy. Miles Sanders never been that guy on our team. Like it's not just the injury. It's not just the injury.
No, it is though.
That we had other backs too that play good.
But listen though, if Miles Sanders would have, you want to know why they don't give him the touches? Because he can't stay fucking healthy. He can't. That's the reason he don't get more touches. He can't stay healthy. This year, outside of his rookie year, he stayed the healthiest. He stayed the healthiest this year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But
I'm saying, imagine this, Tone. He stayed the healthiest this year. My point is, he stayed the healthiest this year, right?
And you think that's because Jalen Hurts too?
Gardner Minshew,
you think that's because Jalen Hurts too?
And he stayed the healthiest, getting the ball. I still don't see him being that much over if he even makes it to 1,000 yards if we didn't have Jalen Hurts.
Miles Sanders, when he had Carson Wentz as a quarterback, he was averaging 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's always averaged that 5 yards a carry. I'm not saying that part. I'm just saying our team's different. Even the linemen tell you they block. It's easier for them to block.
We acknowledge that, but that's not what we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about because he makes everybody's job easier.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But to pretend Miles Sanders wouldn't have 1,000-yard season without Jalen Hurts is just false.
He hasn't.
Because he can't stay healthy, my G. Listen, we're not even talking about skills. We're talking about math. We're doing math now.
But if you're going to agree right there with Shakes, when Shakes says this right here, we didn't even run a ball like 5 games, right? There were still times that he wasn't even utilized. I can remember games where Miles didn't even have that many carries this year. So healthy or not healthy, he was not getting the ball at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it shows different that, Miles might have missed 4 games a year before or 3 games here or 3 games there. But that's what him was as a full-time starter. Like him even being healthy, he's still not getting the ball as much all the time. But Jalen Hurts made it so those numbers that he made that difference there that make his numbers go up as high as they did. That's what I'm saying.
Let's go through Miles' attempts this year. Let's go through them. 13, 17, 15, 27, 15, 18, 9, 17, 12, 13, 21, 10, 17, 11, 21, 12, 11. The point is, not many running backs are even getting the ball that much. You want to know why? Because not every running back is a bell cow this year. Not this year in this NFL. There's not many bell cow backs in the league. Miles Sanders' touches is actually not crazy. But
he never been a guy that needed a lot of touches. He's a home run hitter.
That's my point. That's my point. The fact that this ain't about his touches. This is about his health. He has not been a healthy running back for the past 2 seasons, and that is why he has not been able to get over 1,000 yards. The math tells you if Miles Sanders were to stay healthy, keeping up the same amount, keeping pace with the same amount of touches he's been getting, the math will tell you he would eclipse 1,000 yards easily. Easily.
I like it.
That's the reality, BG. Jalen Hurts makes everyone's life easier in the running game, yes, because it's a numbers game at the end of the day. When you got to account for that extra runner in the quarterback, it makes it harder for defenses. It makes it harder. So therefore, defenses it makes it hard for defenses to say, "Damn, do I got to pay attention to the running back or do I got to pay attention to the quarterback?" So that automatically makes the linebackers or the front seven slow down a second or two. That allows the offensive line to move the line of scrimmage. And also, let me ask you this now. Last year, Miles Sanders had 0 rushing touchdowns, but Jalen Hurts was there. What was the problem?
Jalen took all the touches.
No.
Why do you think we got 39 rushing touchdowns this year? It's because, and he didn't even do as I don't think he had 16 touchdowns, so he had more touchdowns. How many touchdowns did he have last year? 10 rushing touchdowns?
Who?
Jalen.
Was
it 10?
That's a good question. I think he had 10.
And I think 16 passing touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, total for like 26 or something like that.
I think he had. That's a good question. Let me see. That's a good question. What time is it? I gotta get up in the morning.
Yeah, we got. I know. I feel like we just went into a whole Jalen Hurts Miles Sanders, and it was great though. I love it. That's what we do. That's a good show too. We didn't have to talk because everybody knows we're about to blow the Chiefs out of the water. This Kelce Bowls no big deal. Let's talk about some real stuff. The stuff we can argue about. You're
the only person that do this to me, dog.
Yeah.
Because you be saying some wild shit, dog.
I do. I love it. I'll say some, but a lot of my stuff comes true too, for real. Like a lot of my stuff isn't that wild when you actually watch it.
Oh man,
it's not wild by the end of the season. It might sound wild when you first hear it.
Look, the bottom line is this for real quick, man. Let me just make my stance clear. Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in this NFL. I'm a firm believer in there's more than one way to play the position. I'm a firm believer that there's more than one way to play the position. I love the way Jalen Hurts plays the position because he plays it his way. He's unique. He's dynamic. He plays it his way. I'm not one of those guys that doesn't want to count his rushing yards and his rushing touchdowns. All that shit counts. I don't care what nobody say. All that stuff counts. So when people try to pretend like it doesn't matter, that's just not true. Jalen Hurts has been one of the best. Jalen Hurts has been an MVP candidate. Jalen Hurts is an all-pro this year. Jalen Hurts is in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is legit. Now, if people want to debate, his runners, Oh my God, y'all funny as hell, man. But the bottom line is, Jalen Hurts is going to win the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. Period. It's just that simple. And you want to know why they're going to win the Super Bowl? Because of the simple fact that the Chiefs can't stop the run. And that's because of Jalen Hurts. That's because of Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell. But most importantly, it's because of the offensive line. The offensive line. This Eagles offensive line is the reason why everybody is able to do what they is the reason everybody is capable of doing what they're doing. Miles Sanders has had the privilege of running behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL for multiple years in a row. He's had that privilege. That's why he's averaging 5 yards a carry. Not just because of his skill set, because of the offensive line. So, no matter how we feel about either person or I try to tell him all the time. But, I try to tell him all the time.
You can't tell Philly or nothing.
But the bottom line is this offensive line is the best in football. And the offensive line, they make everyone's life easier. And I'll leave it at that, man. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields.
Before we get out of here, I know you gotta get out of here too, Tone, man. But before we get out of here, man, let's give me a hot take. Give me 3 hot takes and then a score prediction before we get out of here.
It's so funny. I'm not hot take. I'm not the hot take dude, but
I'm gonna ask you anyway.
Let me think. A hot take. Okay. Well, is this really a hot take? Huh. Okay. Hot take. Patrick Mahomes doesn't finish the game.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Hot take. Hot take. Now, do I believe it? I don't know.
I believe it. But I don't think he make it past halftime.
But let me tell you this though. Hot take of the evening. Patrick Mahomes doesn't finish the game. That's my hot take.
I like it.
That's my hot take. Just Mike said, damn.
Yeah.
Scorching take.
I like that one.
Magma, lava take. You feel what I'm saying?
Right?
Shark girl and lava boy. Like, that's my hot take, man. Patrick Mahomes doesn't finish the game. Haason Reddick knocks him out.
Give me an Eagles hot take.
All right, Eagles hot take. Eagles hot take. Eagles hot take is the Eagles scored 2 touchdowns on defense.
Ooh.
2 defensive touchdowns. One is going to be a scoop and score, and the other one's going to be a pick 6.
I like it. I like that.
So that's my hot take. So my Chiefs hot take is Patrick Mahomes doesn't finish the game. My Eagles hot take is the Eagles score 2 touchdowns on defense.
My hot take is Jalen Hurts will throw for 400 yards. Finally, I've been saying it every single week.
He came close in that Titans.
He came close last time.
4 yards.
Yeah, he doesn't do it. But this is the stamp. The legacy of Jalen Hurts. You know, chapter 1 ends with a Super Bowl victory, and he throws for 400 yards. That is my hot take. So no matter how many touchdowns you throw, whichever way it works out, I don't care. Just get over 400 for me one time this season, Jalen Hurts. That's my guy. And on for defense, I'm gonna say, yeah. See, you already got the best one for defense. I don't think my hot take was all week was he not making it past halftime. Like he might not be in the game in the first quarter. So it's like I really feel like if he was 100, he got a better chance. But high ankle sprains, man, those aren't something you just kind of get over with that easily. Especially playing 2 weeks ago, he had to play on it already. I know after he got out of that game, it was kind of hurting again. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I really feel like his mobility is going to be the reason why he gets taken out of this game. And besides that, the way Haason Reddick's playing this playoff, he's going to smack him a couple good times. And all you got to do is go out there and take the head off the snake. We did it against San Francisco twice, and I think we do it against Kansas City once at least, you know, and it's gonna be what it is. Like, I think this is about to be a blowout for real.
I do think we won by double digits. I do believe that.
Like how big of a double? Like what part? What were you saying? Like how many points you think?
I said 10 points. I said 10 points, definitely.
How many points are they scoring? Like for me, my score prediction 42-17.
Damn.
Super Bowl blowout.
Damn.
We're going to Philly parading. What you wearing for the parade? Let's go.
Man, if they win, if they win 42-17, I'm going to the parade in the G-string.
Hey, clip that, everybody. Clip that right there.
If they win 42,
everybody heard that.
If they win 42-17,
and you gotta be in that G-string.
If they win 42-17, I'm going to the parade in the Eagles thong. Like for real. Like, yo, 42-17.
You almost made me spit on myself, man.
42-17. I'm going to the game with a thong.
Yeah, man. That is crazy, but I believe it. You know, no one wanted to believe when I said that we're gonna blow out the Niners. No one wanted to believe when I said we're gonna blow out the Giants. They're always like, "Oh, but this or that and the other."
I'm crying.
It's playoff time. No one realized
BG, I'm crying, dog. Oh my God, I'm crying. Yo, Simone, funny. She said, "I know you fucking lying."
Right?
Yo, BG,
he is lying because it's gonna happen. I promise you. You will not see Tone DeShields
I know.
Thong.
Yo,
walking down Broad Street.
You the only person I know that get me like that. Yo, for real, man. That's why I can't work with you all the time, man. Because
that's why we need to work together more.
Oh, what are you talking about? All right. So your score is 42-17. You locking that in?
I locked it in all week.
All right. 42-17. I'm writing that down. 42-17, BG.
Like if they played a little bit better, it'd be 38-17.
No, what's the score?
But you know,
42-17.
I'm saying a close game would be 38-17.
All right. Now,
A bad game.
my
the
score.
way I think the game going 42.
My score is 31-21.
31-21. I like 31 part of that. We scored 31 a lot of times this year too, so
Yeah.
that's pretty accurate there, buddy. Look at Eagles champ. He's saying 57.
No, Eagles champ. Let me tell you.
Write it down.
No, listen. Let me talk about EC1. Right when it came to the I think it was the 49ers game. When it came to that game, he called the score exactly. 31-7 on my live stream. 31-7. He called it exactly.
Yeah. Dominations, blowouts, man. I told everybody healthy going into the playoffs. Everybody was worried about all these other good teams that were on a roll. I'm like, we've been the best team all year, and we haven't even played our best football yet. What do you think when we hit that next level, what the Eagles going to really look like? You know what I'm saying? And no one really wanted to count that into the fact. What the Eagles really going to look like? You could say, oh, it was a giant divisional team. We beat 3 times in a row, but we did it in convincing fashion in the playoffs. Then you can say the Niners. They didn't have a quarterback, but we knocked both quarterbacks out, and they still had the number 1 defense that we scored 31 points on. Regardless, they were like, oh, well, Jalen didn't have that good of a game, but you know what? We ran all over them, and we've had like 2 or 3 drives that were over 70 yards to score touchdowns on. So that means our offense was doing their damn job. So at the end of the day, man, we're built different. We're on another level. These cats could never – I told you guys this in the preseason. They're not on our level. And we about to blow them out. So that's what I got from it. And, hopefully I'm right. I like it, 35-17. We got some other ones in here. But I hope I'm right, because I really feel like they don't have enough. When you don't have enough bullets in the gun, you sit with a 6-shooter, and I got a chopper on my back. That's what the Eagles are. They got the chopper. And Kansas City got that 6-shooter, they're looking good, that old school, nice, chrome handle 6-shooter that, woo, it can one-shot kills, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, when we got choppers, and these choppers are spraying, and we about to spray these fools. So
for sure.
Let's close. Much luck to you, Tone DeShields, man. I love working with you. We definitely gonna be working together some more, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Sure. We definitely gotta get together after we blow out these Kansas City Chiefs. So if you're on Tone's channel, make sure you go hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you have not subscribed to him, bounce over to Bergen to 31. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're not subscribed to me, and vice versa. So because we always bring that fire, and whenever me and Tone get on here, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice, man.
Definitely, man.
Final words before we get out of here, Tone.
I gotta do it.
Yeah, you gotta do it, because that's my favorite part of the show.
Hey, listen, man, you already know how I give it up, BG, man. Look, first and foremost, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your tribe. I appreciate everybody that's holding you down back home, man. Shout out to you and your family, man. Shout out to the people in the live chat that that stayed up with us, holding it down, holding us accountable, challenging us, laughing at us, rocking with us, man. We appreciate y'all so much. That the content don't move without the people. That's the reality, right? I know a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but the reality is the content don't move without y'all. Y'all the engine behind this thing. Y'all the grease to the wheels. You feel what I'm saying? So just understand that this thing don't move without y'all. And we appreciate y'all. I was live with my man Bird Gang 31. I'm your boy Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just gotta charge it to the game. We out of here.
That shit. We out. Peace.